up guys? So today we're at NDT Developments. You guys know Brian, he's helped out massively with the Supra, did all the wiring, tuning and a whole host of extra stuff on top of that to get it ready for me to pedal it last weekend at Mount Smart. So we're going to go to his shop today, which is just in here. He's tuning, so I've got to wait for him to open up the door. It's like a small little complex here of all different workshops, and it's a pretty tiny area he's got to work out of. So yeah, we'll show you guys around, we'll show you exactly what he does and what his expertise is in, and yeah, I think you're going to be pretty shocked, so let's get it. So here we are guys, here with Brian, the man himself. How are you, bro?
I'm good, how are you?
Not too bad. So this is NDT, and it's a small little shop compared to what?
Most shops.
Most shops, I guess. And yeah, Brian specialises in dyno tuning and would you say wiring as well?
That's all I do, dyno tuning and wiring.
That's it?
Nothing else, yeah.
So if you need anything else done?
I mean, we sell ECUs and
yep.
all that sort of stuff, but we don't actually do anything apart from wiring, installing, tuning.
Yeah, true. So to give you reference of what Brian does, he pretty much did, well, I'll let you explain what he did on the Supra.
So I did a bit more than the wiring and the tuning, I guess, because we had a bit of setup stuff to do at the end, but yeah, I mean, we wired and tuned it, basically. Yeah.
And that was, what ECU was that?
Link G4 Plus, Link G4X Fury,
yep, and
Motec PDM.
Yep. And then
Link Dash.
Yeah, Link Dash and all that. So it's the whole body loom. You know, there was obviously, because with that Supra there's a lot of CAN bus stuff as well in there. So
factory there is, yeah. And with the electronics that we had, we couldn't get a lot of the factory stuff going, like the headlights and stuff. I mean, well, if you sunk enough time into it, you probably could. There's things like the wipers and stuff that work on LIN bus, which the ECU and the PDM we have in the card wasn't able to make that work, so there's just no way around that. You know, if we'd had an ECU with LIN bus and stuff, we probably could have got that going, and same with the headlights, tail lights, stuff like that.
All that stuff.
Being such a new car, everything's either CAN bus or LIN bus. So.
And I actually don't even think I've gone into detail on what the end result was power-wise. Can you remember exactly?
It turned all the way out, we didn't turn it all the way out, but it made just over 600 kilowatt of the hubs.
Yeah, right. On what sort of boost?
27?
27.
27? 27 and a half, something like that.
Yeah. I can't believe I haven't even mentioned that. I sort of knew about it, but yeah, I didn't go into detail with that.
Yeah,
but
I mean, obviously Mount Smart being just like a smaller track, we didn't have all of the power in it because there's just no point.
Yep.
Bigger tracks like Pukekohe or Manfield and stuff like that, you probably crank it up a bit.
So now, is there because obviously you've got only a couple cars in the shop, because that's all you can fit.
I try to not have too many cars here at once, yeah.
So organising is key for Brian. But if someone was to say, so they come in with a GDR and they want to, I don't know, from a factory spec car to a tuned decent street car, and they need an ECU and whatever you recommend, what's your go-to ECU, I guess?
Really just depends what the customer's budget is at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like I do a lot of Haltech stuff, I do a bit of Motec stuff, do a lot of Max ECU as well.
Max ECU?
Yeah.
I've never heard of them.
So they're real big in Europe. I know that Frederick Arsbo has them in a couple of his cars.
Oh, maybe that's where I've seen it.
Yeah, they're pretty big in Europe. Really, really good product and really good value for money. Not huge in this part of the world. I mean, they're growing, definitely. But like from a price for what you get sort of standpoint, really, really good value for money. And reliable, they work really well.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I mean, again, it just depends on the customer, you know, if the customer's got money to burn and they want all the best stuff, then, you know, Motec, obviously. But I do a lot of Haltech, I do a lot of, and a lot of, I mean, Max and Haltech are probably the two bigger sellers. And Haltech's got a really good name in New Zealand now, so generally when people come in, they already have in their head what they want.
Yeah.
I want a Haltech, you know, much like this guy, you know,
Yep.
he already, you know, his mind was already made up, that's what he wanted to do.
Yep. Yeah, because I have noticed a lot of people run Haltechs in New Zealand, and like I've always mentioned, whenever anyone asks me, I just say whatever your tuner wants to do, go with that, because they're the brains behind your operation. So
yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I do find that that part of it a little bit interesting. Like I tend to find that in Australia, Haltech's not as liked. I don't really know how to word this. Like the Aussie seems to really love Link ECUs.
they do.
Not so much Haltech, but then come to New Zealand and a lot of the guys love the Haltech, not so much the Link.
Yep.
Which is kind of weird, you know. Link's New Zealand based, Haltech's Australian based, and yet we've kind of done this swapperoo to an extent. You know, there's obviously, you know, there's plenty of tuners out there in New Zealand that absolutely love Link, and vice versa in Australia. You know, there's a lot of big guys in Australia that love the Haltech stuff. But
So with this car, we'll do a quick overview. I've got a few power runs of this GDR that Brian's just tuned. Is this a pretty mild sort of setup? Or?
Yeah, it's really basic. Like I believe it's got a forged bottom end, it's got standard cams, it's got a board worn at 8374.
Yep. ECU.
Manifold, Haltech Elite 2500.
Yep.
ID 1000 injectors, just on pump 98, and it's got water methanol injection as well.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's fairly sort of simple. It's got the factory inlet manifold. Pretty sure it's a bog stock head. I don't think it's had anything done to it.
Yep.
NZ wiring trigger kit. It's nothing too over the top.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
And then what have you got happening over here? Because this definitely looks very fancy.
This is Caleb's car.
Yeah.
High Power Performance have built this. Dwayne done all the fabrication and stuff out there.
Which is
Dwayne fueled by Fab. Does
amazing.
a beautiful job.
It's like a robot's world of the day.
Yeah, no, he's a machine, that's for sure. I've just wired this up. It's got basically ripped all the wiring out of the car and started again. It's a street car.
Wait, you have wired it? Oh, you have too. I actually thought you hadn't because I couldn't see any.
It's not 100% complete yet. There's still a few wiring bits and pieces to finish off, but it's pretty close to being able to fire it up. It's a RB30, 25 head, billet stuff everywhere. It's got a Precision 6870 on it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's got a Haltech Nexus running the car.
Oh, that's a ECU and PDM?
Yeah. So all the factory wiring was taken out of the car, and everything's run from the Nexus doesn't have quite enough PDM outputs to run an entire street car, so it does have a busman relay box in there, which is just doing a couple of things like wipers and windows.
Yep.
But majority of the car, like headlights, tail lights, fuel pumps, everything engine related and drivetrain related, is all run through the PDM in the Nexus.
Far out. Yeah, right. So what sort of power are you expecting out of this? 'Cause
Not too sure. I mean, it should make sort of around 500 kilowatt at the wheels on pump gas. It's got a 6870 on it, the big turbine. It's a good motor. It's got all the supporting stuff.
Yep.
He's got big injectors in it, and it's got the fuel system and everything, and a flex fuel sensor in it. So I think it will go on the 85 at some point. But I think for now we just want to get it running on 98 and get it tuned up.
Because at the end of the day, it's a street car, isn't it?
Exactly. So
Yep.
I mean, it'll spend most of its time on pump gas anyway. It's not going to ever, be tips in the 85 in it. It goes to the track and have some fun, but it's not as easy for us to get E85 over here compared to Australia. We can't just walk up to the pump and get it, So.
Because when did they get rid of it from the pump?
Oh, a couple of years ago now.
Far out.
Well, when COVID started.
Oh.
Yeah, when the whole COVID thing kicked off, that's when it disappeared off the pump.
So used as hand sanitizer.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, as far as I'm aware, Gull don't have any plans of putting it back on the pump. So we're stuck to getting it by the drum, like the BP stuff, or there's a few places that you can buy like just straight E100 and then mix it yourself. But, obviously, you guys can just, what is it, United? Yeah,
we got United at the pump,
Yeah.
which is real handy. But people still buy it in drums, just because they know it's definitely E85 then.
Yeah.
And not.
It's funny, we buy it in drums and it's supposed to be 85 and like that stuff, and that drum is E81, I think.
What?
Yeah, and that's supposedly supercars fuel.
Oh, because you can tell straight away on your dash. Like, with the flex
you
fuel.
probably noticed in the Supra. It was only showing E81 on the dash.
Oh, I didn't even look.
Yeah. So top right, I think it is, on the dash, it shows the ethanol content. It's been like E80, E81.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I only keep an eye on two things. That's oil temp, water temp.
Yeah.
That's probably a bad thing, eh? But anyway.
Yeah.
Speaking of track cars, can we talk about yours?
We can talk about mine if you want. It's in a bit of a state at the moment, to be honest. It's
Because
been crashed and fucking more or less parted out.
there's a really good story behind this entire car. So I kind of want to start from the start. You can't really see. It is a 180. And Brian's actually told me the story of how it all originated. So we're going to, as long as you don't mind, go back to the start.
I mean, we can cut it a bit short. It's
Yeah.
basically, I've been helping out with the D1NZ guys for quite a while now, and I just got sick of, well, not sick of, like I do enjoy it, but I just decided I want to have some fun myself, and I used to do a fair bit of drifting when I was younger.
Yep.
And then just sort of gave it up because it cost too much money.
As we all know.
So, okay, I'm going to build a cheap fun car just to have some fun in and get out there and have a bit of a blast. And it did start off as that. It was a pretty simple car and it had a 1J in it, and then it just, me being me and wanting to play around and tutu with things, it just spiraled out of control pretty quickly and turned into a bit of a science project.
You started with a 1J, right?
Started with a 1J, and I think it started life at like 430 kilowatt or something like that on just a completely stock 1J, and then it got cams and springs and bigger turbo and more power, and then on the side I was building a 2J short block to go in it.
Yep.
To bring it up to 3 litre. And once that was ready, I sort of had expected that the 1J would have died by then. I think I had it at around 500 kilowatt at the time, and we'd done quite a few track days, and it just hung in there. And then, yeah, we kept turning it up and turning it up. It ended up at like 560 something kilowatt.
Jesus.
With all of the boost just absolutely wringing its neck, and revving it to 9200. and it did heaps of track days like that, like between me and David and everyone that was driving it at the time. We really tried to break it.
Would you have any footage of that?
Yeah, I can
Of
send you
Inca?
some footage.
Oh,
Yeah,
wicked.
that was-
I'll cut.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll cut that in now because
Yeah.
I want to hear it as well, real bad.
But yeah, it did, I don't know, 6, 8 track days at that sort of power and that sort of RPM, and it just wouldn't die.
The old JZ life.
Yeah.
Wait, have you had previous experience with RBs in drift cars?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
So prior to getting this car, I was much an RB man. Obviously tuned a lot of JZs, but never really experienced the reliability side of the JZ engines myself until this. And when I got to that
he's
point,
converting me.
when I got to that point, like, you know, we did like 6 or 8 track days or whatever it was with it at like 560 kilowatt, and driving it, like, we were hating on it. You know, we were trying to blow it up.
Yeah.
Like it was tuned to the ragged edge, as much power as it could possibly make.
You didn't put NOS or anything like that?
No, it didn't have
No.
nitrous. It was just a lot of boost and like very aggressive tuning. You know,
What sort of boost?
565 kilowatt was like 36 something pounds, something like that.
What was the intake temps getting to?
That was fine. Had the
Really?
big hyper tune intercooler on it and stuff, so it was good as gold.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it was great, but yeah, I mean, like we tried to break it, and in the end, what actually broke it was turning the rev limiter up to like 96 or 9800 RPM and just all the extra revs.
Jesus.
Stock bottom end and stock balancer and stuff, and it eventually just stretched the rod bolts, but still rods, pistons, everything else was fine. The head gasket hadn't stopped sealing properly or anything, which is pretty incredible. Like, everyone seems to think you need to do head studs and stuff on them at 500 kilowatt, whatever. I mean,
so it was a bone stock 1J?
Yeah. So like, we put valve springs in it, but never took the head off.
Yep.
Like, and I don't even know how many Ks that motor had done. Like, Steve gave it to me and was like, here's a 1J. And it was filthy under the covers when I got it, and we got it running, and I just put a couple of litres of kerosene in it and ran it for like 15 minutes and drained the oil, did a few flushes just to clean all the gunk out of it.
That is awesome.
And yeah, I mean, I thought it was destined to fail in the first couple of track days, like from the state it was in when it got given to me.
Yep.
But yeah, it just went and went and went. Eventually it failed because of the revs, and then put the 2J in there, and again it's just been stupidly reliable. Like,
wait, so is this a bone stock 2J?
No, so I built a forged 2J bottom end.
Yep.
And then I took the head off the 1J and put that on this.
So 1.5.
Yeah, so it's a 1.5. It was wet sump originally when I put it together, and it did, I don't know, we worked it out, it's done to this point about 450 tyres.
Whoa.
Most of that was wet sump. The dry sump only went on, I don't know, 100 tyres ago, something like that.
Can you explain the story behind that, please? It was pure boredom, really, wasn't it?
Sort of, yeah. Like, well, no, not boredom. So I bought some Hypertune billet covers, and this is not a dig at Hypertune whatsoever. Like, great product. It's got a Hypertune intake manifold, Hypertune intercooler. I use Hypertune everything. But took the stock covers off, put the Hypertune covers on, and then it just started pissing oil into the catch can. Like, they've got baffles in them, but they're not as good as the factory Toyota design. At the power level and the RPM and everything it was running, it would just start filling the catch can up, which was a real pain in the ass. And originally I thought I'd done something to the motor, but compression tested it, did everything, it was fine. Put the factory covers back on and went back to the track, and it didn't push oil out anymore. So okay, it's the covers. But I liked the look of the covers on there. And then we went back into a lockdown here, and so I'm just sitting here not doing a hell of a lot, pretty bored. And I'd always liked the look of the daily dry sump kits, but I always thought they would be quite expensive. You know? And I just, for the hell of it, bored one day, emailed Bill Daly and asked him what the kit would be worth, sent to New Zealand, and it was a lot cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So I was like, oh well, that solves my pushing oil out the covers problem. I'll leave the hyper covers on there and just put a dry sump kit on it.
Oh, that is awesome. I want to see the engine bay, but obviously we can't because the car's here. But
that's not much to look at the moment. It's missing a few bits and pieces. And obviously gearbox and rear end's not in there.
So getting on to that, long story short, Brian offered me this car because the Supra wasn't ready in time for the last however many rounds. And, you know, realistically put a lot on the line to allow me to drive it. Like, obviously if anything broke, we'd fix it, but you know, things can happen and you just don't know at the end of the day what could potentially happen. So he offered up his car, and it's not just a, you know, simple drift car. It's got, or it had, sequential. It's obviously got a forged 2J, dry sump, had full Winters rear end in it, and he did lend it out, and then we'll go around and show him what did happen. So yeah, this I shouldn't laugh, I'm sorry Brian.
Oh, it's fine.
But yeah, this is what can happen. I don't know if you want to insert the footage.
Yeah, I can send you the footage if you want.
So this is what happened when, who drove it? Dean Young.
Yeah.
Sorry Dean if you didn't want to be on there, but you are now. But yeah, Brian, you seem to think it's not that bad?
No, it's not that bad. It looks a lot worse than what it actually is.
Okay.
I've already had a couple of different panel beaters look at it, and they're all quite confident it'll be easy enough to pull it out and sort it. I've got all the parts to fix it. I've just been sidetracked and busy with the Supra and just all our customer work. So after the crash, it's just sat here. I'm not planning on getting it going again until December for Summer Bash, so plenty of time to get it back together and sorted. So
that'll be here before we know it though.
Yeah, I mean, after Bay Park is when I'll crack into it. And
the
panel beater will take it and get it all straightened out. Stitch the new corner guard and stuff on it, and it should be good as new again.
Awesome. And then the final piece of the puzzle is this rear end is not yours.
No, so Yeah, obviously like this car had a Winters in it and a Wise Fab rear end. David, one of my good friends and customers, has been, what's he done now? 13 axles and 3 diffs or something this season.
So the guy that you guys seen a few videos ago, David Hunter, is the one with the Laurel. So Brian obviously does all his tuning, wiring, and a hell of a lot more than that to help him out.
Yeah.
And then this is just another really nice gesture that he's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's just been frustrating to see. David's a really good driver, he's quite talented, and he's sort of had a pretty shit run at it this season just with parts failures. He's made the swap from RB to JZ to try and get some reliability, and the engine hasn't given him any issues, but everything else in the car has. So I just figured this car's sitting here not doing anything until December, and you know, after Mount Smart, I think it was Jesse he had his first battle with, top 16.
Yep.
And like didn't even get to drift. He literally entered behind Jesse to chase him at the entry point and just blew both axles on the initiation.
Yep, it was pretty crap to see.
Yeah, so I figure this car's sitting here not doing anything, so we just dropped the subframe out of it, put the whole rear end into his car, got a rear tail shaft made up to suit, just so that he can use it for bay park and actually drive an entire round and you know, get somewhere hopefully, rather than just going out early again due to a parts failure.
So did that go straight in?
Yep.
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 So obviously Laurel and 180 is the same
Yeah, it's
subframe.
all exactly the same. So we just jacked his car up, had this on the hoist, and we just dropped the entire rear end out of both cars and did the old switcheroo.
Have you got the tail shaft already?
Yep, so Steve from Auckland Drive Shafts, he made up the drive shaft, he measured it up on the Sunday, just gone when he dropped it off, and then Monday gave him a call, gave him the lengths and all the bits and pieces, and he had it done for us Tuesday.
Really?
Yep, so David's got it now, and one of his friends picked it up. Thomas, the guy that does his video and stuff, actually came and picked it up yesterday.
Wow.
So.
Because I'm still waiting for mine. It's been 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I would have been better off getting it made here and then taking it home.
Yeah, no, Steve's pretty good.
Jesus.
He's pretty good.
But you'll definitely have this ready for Summer Bash?
100%, yeah.
Because I think I'm just going to come back and even if I'm not doing like driving or anything, I'm going to come back and watch.
Yeah.
Because it's a freaking awesome event.
Yeah, it's really cool. I've been to it a couple of times now and not driven, but I really want to drive, and now I've got a car. Well, had a car, but we'll have a car again. That's, you know.
It'll be back.
Yeah, it'll be back.
It'll be back. And I'll get. Have you got any footage of it with the 2J?
Yeah.
Yeah, sick. I'll cut that in there right now.
Sound as good with the 2J. It's sort of lost that screamy note that it used to have.
Probably because it doesn't rev to freaking 960.
Oh, I still rev it. Like I rev this to 8A.
Oh, serious?
So it still revs, but it doesn't have that same high-pitched raspy 1J note that it used to.
Far out.
But it's a lot more drivable, that's for sure. It's got a lot more low-down torque, and it's good, really good.
And he loves the electric steering. Yeah.
Works well in this, but not in the Supra.
So yeah, that's NDT Developments. So if you guys want any more updates or info about what Brian does and all his stuff, you got most of it on Instagram, eh? You're not?
Yeah, I'm not a big social media person, to be honest. Like we've got a Facebook page, which I barely ever put anything on.
Yeah.
We've got an Instagram, which again, barely ever put anything on.
Yeah.
Just never been big on the social media side of things.
Ah, fair enough.
You know, that's the easiest way to get in contact with me is on the Facebook page or on the Instagram.
Sweet, and I'll chuck all the links below so it's easy for guys to get in touch. Because I've got to tell him the story about the billet block. Can we go and... Yeah, sweet. This is really freaking cool. So Brian helps a lot of guys out in D1 One of the most probably known in the YouTube world is Zach Pohl. Over in the corner here, we have an amazing billet block. And the story behind it is, so Zach Pohl and Jesse Greenslade are obviously two of your really good customers and friends, and he tunes their cars and whatnot. And you guys were like the first billet guys in New Zealand, really.
Well, I think Jesse's was the first billet block motor in New Zealand, period, I think.
Oh, wow.
Or RB anyway. There's probably there's plenty of other guys with billet blocks, like E-slingers and stuff like that. But yeah. Yeah, so Jesse was sort of the pioneer for New Zealand, I guess you could call it.
Yep.
And then we sort of got that ironed out. Zach got a billet block, Cam's got one in his car now, another New Zealand drifter over here.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess Jared just saw that we were having some pretty good success with the billet stuff over here, and he wanted a billet block.
And this Jared guy, he is from America.
Yeah, he's from New York. Yeah.
Which is really, really interesting. Like the power of social media, hey? The dude all the way on the other side of the freaking world.
Yeah.
Hit you up.
Crazy,
and got to. So explain what this is exactly. Obviously, it's a billet block.
Yeah, it's a Bullet Race Engineering billet block. It's still wet, so it's not like a dry deck or anything like that.
Yep.
So that it can still run coolant and work in a drift car. It's got a Nitto 3.2 litre wide journal stroker kit in it. And yeah, I mean, it's got heaps of goodies which are going on it. Got like a billet, hypertune sump pan, Barnes dry sump pump set up. It's running an RB25 Neo head.
Yep. Wait, so you're going to do the entire engine here? Or
yes, to a point. So like we've already got heads inside. All the other parts, we've got the dry sump pan and all that sort of stuff. So it's not going to have an intake or an exhaust. He's sorting all that sort of stuff. But basically, he's getting an engine with a head on it, cam belt, all that's like an assembled long block essentially.
Yep.
For him to then put in the car, put his own inlet manifold, exhaust side on, and stuff like that.
Oh, sweet. And then what's going to happen when it gets to tuning?
I'm not too sure on the exact of what's going to happen there.
Yep.
He was planning to do Pro 2, but their control ECU is linked now for Pro 2, I think it is, or whatever it's called, Pro Spec.
Are you joking?
Yeah, so they've made it's control, have to run a link, but his car has an M-Tron in it, so I'm not too sure. Last I spoke with him, he was talking about still running it on the M-Tron for now.
Yep.
And yes, I'm not too sure exactly what's going to happen there. I mean, I'll definitely help out with remote tuning to some extent. I just don't know how it's going to depend who he's got involved.
Might have to fly him over.
But I mean, if it's going to be having a link go in it, Jason, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Jason O'Flein.
Yeah.
So he tunes Dylan Hughes' car and a bunch of the FD guys. He's actually the Link guy, like he's a Link, works for Link in America. And he's a really great tuner. I've followed him for a while. He's actually knows what he's doing. Yep. Unlike a lot of the guys that I can see over there making a bit of a mess of things. So I've had a bit of a discussion with him, and I'm comfortable for him to tune it. Yep. So, it's just going to come down to how it all works out at the other end, whether he ends up putting a link in it or whether he stays with the M-Tron. I don't know whether Jason will tune it with the M-Tron, but I mean, I'm happy to remote tune it with the M-Tron if that's what it comes to. Yep. Yeah, figure it out when we get to that point.
Oh, fingers crossed you might even get a trip over there, eh? That'll be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Get to see an FD round too.
Yeah.
Come on, Jared, make it happen. No, that's awesome. Well, I think that's pretty much it. I'm not going to hold you up for the rest of your day. But yeah, so that's just a quick rundown, guys, of Brian's shop. Well, thanks for your time, mate.
No worries.
Appreciate it. And we'll be going to Bay Park next weekend. He's roped into obviously helping all the other drifters and also to get this Supra dialed. So massive thanks to Brian. Everyone give him a follow and keep up to date with all the stuff that he's doing. Thanks heaps, buddy.
No worries.
See you guys.